Well, I know what you're thinking. This isn't Siobhan. Who is this rando on my TV? Tanya, what have you done? Not to fear, I may not be Siobhan, but I still promise to serve the same cheesy teasers every week with a side of Explorer athletics and witty commentary. Hello, I'm Megan Cooney.
And I'm Charlie Hugg. What an honor it is to be hosting the undisputed best show on LaSalle TV. Any arguments can be taken up with 866. But it's the first show of the season, so we should probably start talking about sports. You're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explorer Athletics, SportsLine.
Welcome to season 26 of SportsLine. Explorer Sports are back in action, and we've got all your fall sports recaps coming up right here.
And later, I sat down with Rob McIntosh, the recreational director here at LaSalle, to talk all things intramurals, club sports, and much more.
But first, let's take a look at our Explorers' top three.
Number 1, LaSalle men's rowing team has named Brian Perkins as their new head coach for the 2023 season. Perkins previously coached at Temple University, leading the team to multiple Dadvale titles and IRA national championship appearances.
Number 2, over the summer, 227 Explorer athletes were named to the A10 Commissioner's Honor Roll for the 2022-2023 academic school year. This is the third highest total in the school's history. The award requires A10 athletes to maintain a GPA of 3.0 or above. Of those 227, 163 athletes had a GPA of 3.5, with the average GPA of a LaSalle student athlete being 3.47.
Number 3, Justin Hollenbach has been named this week's NovaCare Player of the Week. Hollenbach scored her first 2 career goals in the Explorers' 2-2 draw with the Temple Owls on Sunday.
All right, Explorer Sports back in action.
Here we are. Who would have thought?
I know, right? So rowing. New coach, new team-ish. They're a good team. Is this coach going to affect them?
So that was very interesting to me. I know they were one of our better teams on campus last year. They were nationally ranked at a point, and usually you don't see a nationally ranked team, especially at LaSalle, getting a new coach. But if they were to get one, I think this is the guy you want. 20 years of experience, coached at Temple, which is a great program. I think they have a great coach coming in, a lot of experience. I think this is going to be really, really good for this rowing team. Yeah,
absolutely. I feel like I'm really looking forward to seeing how it affects their season. I know their season starts a little later, but seeing where he takes this national team from here, it would be really interesting to kind of find out.
Absolutely.
Student athletes. It's hard being a student athlete. I feel like maintaining 227 Explorers, maintaining a 3.0 GPA is incredible.
Absolutely, and that's something we talk about on the show all the time, is just the dedication it takes and how awesome it is for these students to be keeping up their GPA while also being on a sports team. It's not easy. It's hard enough to do all these extracurriculars on our own, so being on a sports team is just so much harder. But it really is great to see, and 227 is not a small number, so congratulations to all of them.
And the fact that 163 out of those were above a 3.5, like that's incredible. I can barely manage my GPA as it is, and I'm not a student athlete, and these kids get up and they practice in the morning, they practice after class, they practice in between free period on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I just know that it's the time and the dedication is just absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely.
So that's it for the top 3. Now let's see how our teams did in this week's recaps. Field hockey took on Fairfield last Friday despite the unfortunate weather conditions. Both teams fought to the bitter end. Fairfield was first on the board, scoring the only goal in the first half despite 4 other shot attempts on goal. The Explorers came back in the second half, however, with Sola Spana taking a pass from Sophia Pia to tie the game. The Stags scored another goal at the start of the fourth quarter that would ultimately lead to their 2-1 victory over the Explorers. It was then time to take on Big Five rival Villanova. The Wildcats took control early, ending the first quarter with a 2-0 lead. Soon into the second half, however, Sophia Pia cut the deficit in half with her first goal of the season. Tatum Johnson added a second goal that sent both the teams going into the second half tied. The third quarter was quiet until a goal from Clara Laripa put the Explorers up by 1 heading into the final quarter. Villanova responded early in the fourth, tying the game 3-3. It would be a goal scored by Salle Explorers thanks to the help of Tatum Johnson that would win the Explorers the game with a final score of 4-3.
Men's soccer opened the week with a home match against Quinnipiac on Sunday. After a 2-hour lightning delay, the Explorers would hold the Bobcats scoreless through the first 20 minutes before falling to a 1-0 deficit on a goal in the 24th minute. Less than a minute later, the Bobcats would send a shot off the hands of goalie Philip Sabati that would give themselves a 2-0 lead that they carried into halftime after another 40-minute lightning delay. LaSalle would come out of halftime and outshoot the Bobcats 12-3, but were unable to put one in the back of the net. Quinnipiac would score once more to result in a 3-0 loss for the Explorers, snapping their 4-game lossless streak to start the season. The Explorers continued their season on Tuesday against NJIT. The Highlanders came out hot, scoring 2 goals in just over 2 minutes. The first half would continue to be all NJIT, with the team outshooting the Explorers 15-3. Coming out of half, LaSalle would put a point on the board with a goal from Umal Nimrati. 14 minutes later, in the 75th minute, the Explorers would tie it up on a header from Americo Pereira off a cross by Andrew Blackwell. However, the Highlanders would score just 2 minutes later to make it a 3-2 game. The Explorers were unable to answer and ultimately took their second loss of the season. The team will take on St. Joe's at home this Saturday.
Women's soccer took on NJIT last Thursday. The Explorers started the game firing 4 shots in the first 17 minutes. The 4th shot was headed in by Emily Banaszewski off a corner kick by Madison McCready, giving the Explorers a 1-0 lead. LaSalle attempted 5 more shots before the half was concluded. In the second half, shots were attempted by both teams before the Highlanders would tie the game 1-1. Off a rebound after a save by LaSalle goalkeeper Michaela Agudra. Unfortunately, the Explorers were unable to get a second shot in, and the game ended up in a tie 1-1. On Sunday, women's soccer would go up against Temple. The Explorers came out strong, controlling possession for most of the first half. 4 shots were attempted along with 4 corner kicks, but LaSalle could not find the back of the net, and the score would remain 0-0 by halftime. At the beginning of the second half, the Owls would score a goal, cause the Explorers to fall into a 1-0 deficit. But it wouldn't take long when Justice Hollenbach retaliated with her first goal, 5 minutes later tying the game 1-1. Temple would then score another goal, taking a 2-1 advantage in the 77th minute of the game. 9 minutes later, Hollenbach scored another goal to tie the game once again by rebounding Emily Banaszewski's shot off the crossbar. As time expired, LaSalle had one more chance to win the game, but unfortunately, Ricochet Walker's shot was saved, and LaSalle would end another game with a tie 2-2.
The men's and women's cross-country teams opened their fall season at the Temple Owl Invitational on September 1st. Freshman Helen Usher was the first Explorer to cross the finish line, coming in 7th overall with a time of 15 minutes 50 seconds in the 4K race. All 4 other runners finished in the top 15, resulting in 49 points and a 3rd-place finish for the Explorers women's team. The men's team would also finish in 3rd with 75 points. Charlie Hazell led the way for the Explorers in the men's 6K, finishing 7th overall with a time of 19 minutes 44 seconds. 4 other Explorers would all finish in under 21 minutes to propel them to 3rd-place finish, and the teams will race again on Friday at the Mainline Invitational.
All right, a lot of sports.
A lot of sports to cover, especially because we had a couple weeks of sports going on before we were able to get behind the desk, so there is a lot to recap.
Yeah.
But the good thing is a lot of improvement this year compared to last year. It looks like men's soccer, this time last year they were 1-3-2. They're currently 3-2-1. Field hockey this time last year were 3-3, 4-2 now. A lot of improvements being made, and it's just good to see. I mean, hey, we love Explorer sports, whether they're winning or losing. So the fact that they're up.
Exactly. I feel like I kind of want to chalk a lot of that up to maybe the younger athletes and that fresh talent that's coming out here on the field. Like, we have Justin Hollenbach. She came in. I know she's only a sophomore, and it quite literally took her a couple games, and she's winning these games for the Explorers with 2 goals in a game. Like, I just think the fresh talent that's coming on to all of these teams it takes time. Like, sometimes, you know, you look at some of, like, the records. You have women's soccer, they have a couple losses before we got to cover them when they were playing in the beginning of the summer. But I feel like once you get in that groove with your team and you get to see how you can make that fresh talent incorporate into your team, it can really send you over. Absolutely.
Like you said, women's soccer, they lost a lot of seniors. They lost a key piece in Kelly McGroarty, who's now playing at Iowa. So a lot of big losses, but again, to see the young talent stepping up, scoring her first, Justice Hollenbach, scoring her first 2 goals, which are the only goals of the game to make it a tie game. The difference between a tie and a loss, especially by the end of the season, is huge. So keeping that and just having that impact on a team that young is a great thing to see. And they're playing a lot of hard talent, so you can't hold them to their record until A10s, as that's when it really starts to matter. But they put up a lot of good fights, and I mean, they were 5-3 this time last year, but that doesn't really say much. It's still a really good team, and they have a lot in store for them.
I feel like to tie against Villanova too, when you look at Villanova's teams and Villanova's athletics, to tie against them is phenomenal. Like you said, they're out here playing some pretty big teams, Delaware, Towson. Like, I know those are big field hockey schools, and the fact that they're coming out here and giving their best and tying, like you said, in the end of the season, ties matter, and that's the thing that you really got to look for.
Absolutely, absolutely. And men's soccer too. I mean, to start the season without a loss, they had their first tie in their first game and then won 3 straight. Big improvement from last year. They had 1 win at this time. So to start your season that hot, they've had a couple losses, but they were the only losses of the year. So, I mean, they're looking really good. Again, a lot of young talent helping out. I know Sandu was a freshman. He got some starts. He's unfortunately injured, but there are freshmen playing, and that's really encouraging to see, not only for them, but for the team, to know that these young guys can come in, have an impact, and it's working. 3-2-1 is not something to be ashamed of. They should be proud, especially from what they were last year, the improvements. They ended last year 5-9-4 to already have 3 wins in your 7th, going into your 7th game. That's really got to be a big confidence booster for them. Yeah.
I also want to talk about our talent that's been here for a while. Like, we've heard a lot of names like Tatum Johnson. I feel like, especially for field hockey, I know she's a junior, and you can't kind of knock, like, yes, we have all this fresh talent, but you can't knock the players that have been here and that have been putting in the work for years. I know Tatum's one of the top scorers on the field hockey team, and just like, she has a 70% shot on goal percentage, and that's just absolutely amazing. And I feel like it's those key players that have been there for a while and that come in and help kind of like incorporate the fresh talent, but you have those basic players, kind of like you said, that have been around and that know what they're doing, that help carry the team really in the end.
You can see it. Tatum's having a great season, but her other teammates are doing great as well. Clara Laripa and Sol Espiniana, who you were talking about earlier, both lead the team with 4 goals. Tatum's having a great year with 2 goals, but it's really seeing the team and it's being spread out and everybody's making an impact. It's a team sport. Every sport is. So to see that, it's really cool. You never want to have, I mean, it's great to have people like that, but you never want to have just one player. So seeing it, it's very encouraging, especially for the rest of the year. Again, this is the first episode, so we have a lot more sports to talk about, but I can see a lot of wins in the future for a lot of these Explorers teams.
Yeah, and then to briefly touch on cross country, I know we lost a couple Mancinis. You know how we love our Mancini sisters here on SportsLine. But I think we still have one left, so I can't wait to see what they continue to do. I know they haven't really had a lot of invitationals or meets yet, but I know that they're coming up. We have some pretty other amazing, I know golf has some things coming up. So I'm excited. I like fall sports. I feel like soccer, field hockey, they're all really good. I know we get a lot of hype from the student body around the soccer teams, and so I feel like it's going to be a really good fall, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Charlie had the chance to sit down and learn all about intramural and club sports. Stay tuned.
When you miss an episode of Q&A, you get hungry. When you get hungry, you don't know what to eat. When you don't know what to eat, you get irritable. When you get irritable, you miss questions on your exam. Don't miss questions on your exam. Watch Q&A on LaSalle TV.
People join Walk MS to raise awareness and funds that change the world for everyone affected by multiple sclerosis. Walk MS brings communities together, creating teams with friends, loved ones, and coworkers to rally around those we care about and end MS forever. Together, we can change the world for people with MS. Register today at walkms.org.
Welcome back. This week, Charlie sat down with Rob McIntosh to talk about our intramural and club sports here at LaSalle.
At LaSalle that we talk about every week on the show. There's also plenty of ways for students to get involved on campus playing sports. Joining us today is the Director of Recreation on campus, Mr. Rob McIntosh. Rob, thank you for joining us today. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, great. So just to start, so what is your role on campus? What do you do? How long have you been here?
So I am a Director of Recreation on the campus here at LaSalle. I've been the director for 20 years now. I was also a student athlete for 5. And as a student athlete, I ran intramurals for 3 years as an undergrad. So after I graduated, after I came back from arena football, I got the job here running intramurals.
I was just going to bring that up. So you do have a little bit of pro experience in sports.
A little bit.
I'm sure that helps you a little bit coming in here, right?
It did then, but now it's just memories.
Yeah, you're out of there. Right. So so you run recreation, so that involves clubs and intramurals, right?
Yeah, so recreation involves clubs, intramurals, Explorer Fitness, personal training. We also are we're the group who takes care of the late night sporting activities for the students on campus or any special event that's on campus. So we take care of that as well.
Right. And so those run similar to other sports. So you have different seasons, different sports. So now we're in the fall. So what specific sports are running in the fall? Both
So in the
club
fall
and
we have, for intramurals, we have flag football, indoor volleyball, and sand volleyball. We have pickleball. And right now I'm fixing up the pickleball courts. So
Great.
we can get that up and going because it has lights on the court.
Right. So how do those run? Are those during the day, at night, or?
So pickleball, sand volleyball, we ran during the day. Our normal start time is 4:30 till it gets dark. And then flag football is at night on McCarthy Stadium. Volleyball is indoors in Tom Gola Arena.
Right. There you go. And so there's club sports too, and those run different. So intramurals are with LaSalle and clubs are with different schools. Is that how that works?
So with club sports is you practice and you play against other schools. Intramurals is you don't practice, you just show up and play the games. As a group, get your friends together, you come out and have a good time. And with intramural sports, we have 4 sports that if you win a championship here, you get to compete against other schools in what we call the City 6 Extramural Classic. Temple, St. Joe's, Villanova, Penn, and Drexel.
And so those are the champions from each school will get together and play each other.
A one-day event, go down there and winner takes all.
Great, of course. So clearly a lot of kids do this. And so just in terms of campus environment in general, how much do you think your role and the club sports in general kind of add to this environment? Because of course you work at the gym too, so that's a big thing that I know a lot of students like to go work out. So just in general on campus, how do you think your role kind of plays in and just the sports and clubs in general?
So on campus, recreation is a big deal. So by us having the fitness center, having the satellite rooms in St. Cat's, having the lofts in the pool, that creates an activity that people can come work out, can enjoy themselves. We learned that over the years that recreation and activities you offer is a great retention tool for students to stay.
Right. And you just mentioned the pool, so just from being here and following along, there are things that are offered outside of clubs and sports, so like open pool hours and stuff like that, and there are open gym hours too that people can go to, and that's anything particular about that, or you kind of just sign up and go, or? So
for anything that's open, you'll just normally sign up, but in recreation, we have incorporated IM leagues on campus, and there's 1,100 schools that use IM leagues as well, and you go in there, you can sign in, it tells you what's coming up. It gives you the time, date, location, and how to sign up and register.
Great.
And with that, I can send alerts. Just one button, sign it up, one button, everybody gets it.
Awesome. So with that being said, so clearly, is that how you sign up for the intramural sports, or is that a different thing? If you want to join the club or join an intramural, do you go through IM leagues or do you go through you? For a student looking to join, how would they?
Intramurals is through IM leagues. So intramurals are fitness classes and special events, which is our reservation. So open swim, open gym, open rec, or if you want to rent lawn games from us, you can go through IM leagues. Club sports, you specifically will email campusrec@lasalle.edu or myself at mcintosh@lasalle.edu.
Awesome. And then one more thing. So I know there's a lot of students that like to play the sports, but other students that like to be involved. You do offer work possibilities, like?
Yes. So I offer a lot of jobs because I need referees all the time. Great. So refereeing is the biggest job offering, and then at the IBC Fitness Center just to keep it covered.
Great. So this fall, how are we looking for intramurals? Are there a lot of people signed up? You excited about this year? I'm sure it's different every year for you.
Yeah,
right?
It's different every year. We actually have more students signed up this year for club sports than we do intramurals.
Great. So it looks like you're going out and looking for kids. So anybody
Yes.
watching this should be signing up, trying to
Yes.
get a team together.
Yes.
So which do you think, if you had to encourage somebody to sign up for an intramural sport, which is your favorite? Which is the most interesting intramural sport that somebody should join?
So for me in the fall, it will be flag football. And then in the spring, it's kickball and softball.
Kickball does get pretty interesting. I've been there for some of those. Yeah. All right. Do you have any last words you want to say before we wrap up here?
No, but I was excited to be here, so thanks for this opportunity.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a great time.
Thanks.
We're going to take one last break, and when we come back, we have all the upcoming games you can look forward to. Stay tuned.
I just missed the shuttle.
You never hit record!
I never hit record. I just got an F on my exam.
Is that you? Do you sit around bored all day? Do you want to watch television shows where you can look at the people and be like, I can be that. That's me. Well, you should check out LaSalle TV. That rhymes. We got entertainment news at Backstage Pass. We got regular news at LTV News. We got sports news at Sports Talk and SportsLine. And for those of you who really want some fun stuff, Q&A. Because down at LaSalle TV, we got a full buffet.
Thanks, LaSalle TV.
Thanks, LaSalle TV.
Thanks, LaSalle TV. I still miss my shuttle.
MS does suck.
MS mucks with your central nervous system. Almost everything about your body, your muscles, your organs, your ability to speak, your ability to understand, your ability to move.
MS took everything from me. Everything I thought was important, everything I valued.
I used to jump in a trampoline and swim with the kids.
MS has affected me being a mom because I'm sorry.
Despite MS, I will keep riding my bike.
I will continue to be the strongest mom that I possibly can.
I will still dance with my husband.
I will continue to live the life that my daughter expects me to live.
Multiple sclerosis may be a part of who you are, but it doesn't define you.
I will never stop. I will never quit.
I'm going to keep being me.
New school year means we have many Explorer sports to look forward to. Here's what's coming up this week. Field hockey takes on Lock Haven Friday at 3. Over the weekend, they will travel to New Jersey to take on the undefeated Scarlet Knights at Rutgers. Golf is also back in action, with men's golf participating in the Ryan T. Lee Memorial Golf Tournament this weekend, and women's golf participate in the Delaware State Fall Invitational at the beginning of next week.
Men's and women's soccer have a busy week ahead. The men will take on rival St. Joe's on Saturday before they travel to take on Ryder later in the week. The women will also travel to St. Louis on Sunday to take on the Billikens And then they will travel to Washington 1 week from today to take on the George Washington Colonials. Shifting gears to cross country, both teams will participate in the Mainline Invitational at Haverford College in Pennsylvania tomorrow. Good luck to both teams.
All right, so we have a lot coming up.
A lot coming up,
It's
lots to look
exciting.
forward to. We do have an A10 rival against the Billikens, I believe. So that's always fun when you can play an A10 team.
Sorry, you go.
No, you're good. But yeah, a lot of interesting matchups, a lot of stuff, especially the way we were talking earlier. These teams are looking really good. A lot to look forward to. It's been an exciting season. I expect them to keep it up this week.
Yeah, I'm really excited for field hockey to take on Rutgers. Rutgers is undefeated at the moment. They're a really good field hockey team. Like we said, field hockey is really starting to get in their groove, pick up the pace. So I'm really excited to see how that game turns out. And then we have golf coming back. I know we don't have Libby to talk about it, but I'm excited to see what they do. They're just kind of kicking off their fall season. So that should be really excited to get those scores and report on that next week.
I'm sure she'll be following along.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to men's soccer. They took 2 losses this past week, their first losses of the season. So I'm excited to see how they rebound from that, what they're going to do with that. And after talking to Rob, I'm also excited. Intramural sports start this week. So if any students are watching and still want to join a team, now is the perfect time. But they will have to go up against me, so that is the
flag
one thing.
football, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Great.
All right, that's just about wraps it up for this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorers play, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on Instagram at SportsLine L-TV. We welcome you to send your thoughts and suggestions there.
For our entire SportsLine team, I'm Megan Cooney.
And I'm Charlie Hugg. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the game.